So we're here today with Wendell and Galina. Wendell is marketing director for Magnepan. Galina's his lovely wife. Today's Saturday, and they both drove all the way today specifically to introduce to our client base this prototype speaker we're calling it
concept. No, it's
concept.
not a speaker. It's
Yes,
not a speaker.
Concept. We're calling it affectionately the Mini 30.7.
Yeah, for 30.7 for condos.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
So
yes.
the idea behind it is that the 30.7 was a huge raving success where the sound was concerned. Everybody who has heard it, who's had the fortune of hearing it, are just stunned by how wonderful the speakers are. Problem is, in
It's
order for
too
panels,
big.
yeah, panels to fill a room, to get the bass and all that kind of stuff, it has to be big. There's no physical way around it.
Mm-hmm.
So Wendell and his team decided, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's figure out a way to make these speakers so that they'll fit into a smaller room, into a condo, and yet maintain, if at all possible, a performance level that client would not be unimpressed with or be disappointed by.
That's right.
So,
it's a physics problem.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the physics problem first. So what is the problem with making a smaller panel? What happens? What do you lose?
Wow. Do you really want to get that
in 2
far
minutes.
in?
In 2 minutes.
No, you can't.
In 2 minutes.
I asked my husband,
Yes.
make a speaker narrow
Okay.
and tall,
Right.
so invisible.
Right.
So I would like to enjoy live music.
There we go.
I'm raised in Russia.
Right.
We cannot have money to buy expensive speakers,
Right.
but we go to the real concert orchestra.
For just a few
theater.
rubles,
Yeah,
very
very
inexpensive.
affordable.
They could listen to more live music than the Americans could because it was so inexpensive.
Yep. So I enjoy live music, and
By the
when
way, one of my favorite albums of all time is Mercury Living Presence,
Yeah.
Balalaika Favorites. One of my favorite albums of all time. I have it here somewhere. I'll show it to you later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I prefer Russian classical music like Tchaikovsky, Nutcracker,
Yes.
Swan Lake.
Yes.
And it's so touchable. It's
Yes.
so inside of my soul, and I like drug. I want it again and
Right.
again and again. And I want to have that live music at my home.
Right.
But we have such a little room,
Yeah.
and no.
So the cobbler kids do not have shoes.
Right.
The cobbler doesn't have shoes. I mean, we live in a little townhouse. We have a wood stove. We're the only one in our complex that has a wood stove. And so there, on the left side, the left channel, there is no space.
No
There's
space.
maybe 14. We could probably put an LRS on that little slot, but the couch would block it.
Right.
So we need a tall line source. So you could say, in a sense, we wanted a high-end speaker that would fit in our little townhouse. And that's why I dubbed it 30.7 for condos.
Okay.
The very best that high-end audio that a Magnepan could offer, but in a space. But it becomes a physics problem.
Yeah, physics.
Now that's
it's
all
impossible.
about it's all about the mid bass.
Okay.
So we're here to the hybrid speakers have all we've listened to all of them. In fact, I remember years ago Jim Winey built a hybrid and it sounded like a hybrid because you're mixing a monopole and a dipole.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make the same kind of sound as a 30.7, you have to obey the same laws of physics that 30.7 or a large panel speaker do in terms of the wave launch. So that's what we set out to do.
Okay.
Now that's, you could talk about it and get reviews, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's cynical. There's so many good reviews out. We thought we're going to have to take it on the road, and we completed the 30.7 tour. Thought that was the end, but I thought, no, we're going to have to show this because nobody's going to believe it.
Okay.
So we're here to show it's all about mid-bass integration.
Right.
The mids and highs are not a problem, and this is the elements out of a 30.7 for the mids and highs. So it's good. That's accepted. But that's not why we took it on the road. We wanted to show that there's a way to do the integration properly with all dipoles. We call it double dipole because it's the base is dipole, the mids and highs are dipole, but they're of two different types.
Right.
So it's really, the proof is in the pudding.
So the point of this tour, this short tour, at least for now, is to first of all get feedback from visitors to see if they agree that
Right.
the coherence is there, that the integration is there, and also at the same time to get feedback about what else you could do to this potential prototype system that might make it so that a buyer would want a system like this.
Well, that's easy. We don't have to bring it here. 6 feet, it's dressed in its underwear. It's got a black bag over it, but it's you don't need to see a photo of it. We invite people to go look at it, but there's nothing to see. That's why we got it behind this scrim cloth. We don't want you looking at this raw driver. It's 6 feet tall, 12 inches wide, inch and a half thick, and it's got a black bag over it. Now, do you need to see that? No, you can see that in your mind. We don't need to bring that on tour. We're only here for really one reason. The customers' audiophiles have good reason to be cynical or disbelieving that we've achieved mid-bass integration. The deep bass is not a problem. Mids and highs are not a problem. It's that transition where all hybrids have an image problem, because you read a review about a hybrid speaker, they say, wow, they've done it. That you can't hear the transition from the dipole to the monopole. Yes, I can. So I expect people to be cynical or disbelieving, skeptical, that this approach has accomplished it. Now, there's nothing new here. I mean, dipole, sometimes called open baffle speakers, have been around forever. That's not a new idea. Our particular approach to it is a little bit unique, but that's the dipole speakers or open baffle speakers have made a comeback because of two things: DSP, digital signal processing, and monster Class D amplifiers. You put those two together, and now you can make a dipole woofer do some amazing things. And that's being done, has been done successfully by a lot of Magnepan, some Magnepan customers. So the chat rooms all know about this. So that isn't the news or what we're showing. We have a unique approach that's never been done in terms of integration. And that is that's what we can't talk about that because the patent process is in the works. But that's what all of this is, marketing hype, unless you can actually prove it. And that's the sole reason for the trip.
All right. Well, let's move on into a couple other things because so many clients would like to know more about you. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with Magnepan. You've been with Magnepan for how long now?
Well, I've been marketing it for 46 years. It'll be 47 years in June.
My God.
Seems like yesterday.
Well, that says you love what you do.
Yeah, it's fun. Yes.
So how did you get involved with Magnepan? How did it start?
I fixed Bill Johnson's photocopy machine.
So Bill Johnson, just so that...
most people know that he was the president of Audio Research, the founder of Audio Research. This was before Audio Research days. He had a little hole-in-the-wall shop in South Minneapolis. I was out of Bible college. I was like, no, I don't want to be a minister like my dad. What am I want to do? I don't like this. I was a lousy student. I remember my mother. She was shocked that I could remember this. 10 some year later in life, I said, Mom, do you remember the side door of the parsonage when I came back from hunting again? And she said, Wendell, you'll never amount to anything because all you want to do is play. At the time I was in my 60s, I said, Mom, I'm in my 60s,
That's all you
and
do.
I'm still playing. I play with toys.
Yes.
Yep.
I have my own. I've got 5 patents and other gun-related inventions, and I've got a new idea for how to keep old fingers warm in Minnesota winters, and I get to play with all these cool toys.
So, but
It's
going
like-
back, so how?
So I fixed his photocopy machine.
Okay.
It was running poorly, and people that knew Bill Johnson in those days knew how he could be very cautious and skeptical. It's like, you're here to tune up my photocopy machine? Yeah, just a courtesy call. And I looked around like, whoa, there's a huge I recognized electrostatic speakers. He had this huge electrostatic prototype array made by Ron Taves, RTR. You probably remember RTR.
Yes.
It's long gone, and I saw these monster tube amps on the floor, and this was a little hole in the wall stereo store in South Minneapolis. And I like, whoa. I was just getting into audio. I heard KLH9 electrostatics,
Right.
and like, this is, so Bill was like suspicious. So I got his photocopy machine tuned up, and then he introduced me to all this equipment, and we became friends. We started play. He loved to play ping pong and tennis. We became friends, and I subsequently moved back to Oregon, which is my stomping grounds, where I'd prefer to be. Minnesota's great, but it's not Oregon. And Bill called and said, I've started a new company. It's called Audio Research. I need a sales manager. Uh-oh. Here, I'm a lousy student, right? I don't like to study. So it's oftentimes who you know more than what you know. And I thought, oh boy, I remember my aptitude interest exams. My highest aptitude was electronics and mechanical. My lowest score was sales. He wants me to be the sales manager. And I thought,
So you started with audio research, basically.
yeah, yes. So I took the offer. He said, "Don't worry, I need somebody I can trust. I'll teach you the sales part of it." And actually, I still don't like sales. I like marketing. I respect your marketing. By the way, you are easily the most creative of all the dealers that I've dealt with in 46 years. You really should be in marketing and just get out of retail and get into marketing. You're so creative.
Thank you.
And I enjoy marketing because it's strategy,
Right.
where sales is,
Very
I gotta convince you that what I'm trying to sell is better. And I'm kind of a duck out of water when it comes to that.
So, how long were you with Bill Johnson?
Well, that was a 5-year contract between where it was a synergistic relationship between Magnepan and Audio Research. Where
Wait a minute. Where did Magnepan come into the
well,
picture?
Bill, unbeknownst to me, Jim Winey was a customer of Bill Johnson's in that little hole in the wall shop.
So Jim Winey was the founder of Magnepan.
Yes, yeah. So he got it helped Magnepan to get by their relationship with Audio Research. It helped Magnepan get started, and of course it made Audio Research electronics sound better. So it was a win-win.
Okay.
And then when that relationship ended, that contract ended, then I went to work for Magnepan.
Right. So Jim saw something in you and said, "Come on over. Come over
Well,
to the dark side."
we had become friends, and I always liked mechanical things. That's where I'm most comfortable.
Okay. And so once you joined Magnepan, you've obviously, unfortunately, this has to be a short video because soon we're going to start the event. But what are some of your memorable ideas, some great memories that you have during all this time with Magnepan, working there, and with Jim Winey and the team? What are some things that you can pass on?
Remarkable?
Sure.
Something that sticks out.
Yes, some funny things, some interesting things, products that you've designed that you thought were great, some things that were terrible. And so, how
Well,
do we
what
come
I
up with
remember most was the uncomfortable things of being in sales.
Okay.
I remember going to shows And I learned from taking Briggs Myers personality test that I'm actually on the slightly introverted side of the scale. I remember Kathy Gornick saying, you're like Jim Teal in terms of personality type. I remember going at shows in Las Vegas, it's so draining. That's partly why I've never been a good minister, is that being up on stage drains the battery. And I remember going during the shows in Las Vegas, going into the bathroom and staying in the stall as long as I thought I could get away, just to have quiet. No one's interacting with me. I'm not on display. And I think, probably time's up. I probably should get back.
Well, it's a good thing you never went into pastorage, because nobody would get saved.
I know about church politics. And it's like, no thanks.
Well, thank you very much for sitting down with us, and thank you obviously for coming. Everybody, this is, again, a great privilege for us that Wendell and his wife Galina are here, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the video, which will be interactions between the presentation and people's feedback about the prototype system. And please, if you like, yes, go ahead.
I would want to give a postscript. Don't retire. Find something you enjoy. Stay involved. But just moving to Florida, Arizona, and playing cards with other old folks, no. You got to stay involved. Old people have something to offer.
Yes,
we tend to diminish. It's all about youth, but there are some advantages of being old.
Name one.
Yes. And good to please people,
Yes.
to be happy.
Yeah. Why did we evolve to live so long if it wasn't some benefit to society and our children?
Absolutely agree. Everybody, again, if you like this video, please subscribe, turn on notification, and please add your comments and feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Wendell would love to read the comments and understand more of what you would like from the company, the things that you like about the products and things you don't like about products. One thing about Wendell, he's very open-minded, and he's been doing this a long time, so you're not going to hurt his feelings. Thanks
That's
again.
right.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.